What's up, nation? Welcome to another edition of the Wise Take MLB DFS podcast. I'm your host, CK013. You can find me on Twitter at CK_013. And I'm joined once again by the triple OG of the Wise Take Nation, Mr. Patio Joe. You can find him on Twitter at Patio Joe Ref. Joey, my man. How you doing?
Doing well. It's Friday. We're almost done with the week and the summer break in between, like the week before, like when school gets out in the summer camp is almost over. So I've survived it. So the kid is almost back at school. So I'm happy.
Good, man. Good. That's definitely a good thing. Surviving. That's what you got to do.
That's all you got to do is you have to survive.
That's it.
It's all about surviving.
That's it, Joe. We have a huge slate to get into. What is it? 14 games? 15 games?
15.
Massive.
Yeah.
We've got cores on it. We've got a lot of pitching. We've got a little bit of everything. So let's go ahead and just jump in and just get down and dirty with it. Cash games, SP1s, like we always do. To start, who's your guy? We've got Scherzer. We've got Cole. I'm assuming it's one of them. What do you got?
Yeah, right now it's got to be Max Scherzer. I mean, it's got to be Garrett Cole. He's facing the Blue Jays, who strike out in the top 10 of most strikeouts against righties, and in the last 2 weeks, they've also been striking out in the top 10. So it's pretty much, Cole has the highest strikeouts percentage in the major leagues. Go that with a team that's striking out in the top 10 against righties and what they've been doing the last 2 weeks. FanDuel, you want strikeouts. A plus B plus C equals D. Garrett Cole is your cash game pitcher. You can look at Scherzer, and I don't mind him as a GPP option tomorrow, but in cash, I'm totally off of him because I was looking at some of these D-backs have some decent histories against them. This is what me and Mr. Brown came up with a different word. They have some decent histories against Mr. Scherzer. So I would just kind of like put him more into the GPP talk than with the cash talk. Probably just because also on FanDuel he's like $400 less than Cole. So I'm just going to pay up for Garrett Cole. The Blue Jays are a weaker hitting team than the Diamondbacks. So I'm just going to take that. Pretty much that's my SP1s tomorrow for cash it's Garrett Cole all the way.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that. I think it's close, but I do agree with you that even though Toronto was pretty hot recently in Baltimore, I think that's more of
Baltimore.
Yeah, Baltimore. So I do like Cole in this particular situation. He does feel a little bit safer. And we'll talk about tournaments, but Scherzer obviously has a ton of upside, so it's nothing against him. But I agree with you that Cole seems to have the easier path. What about SP2s, Joe, for DraftKings? Anybody stand out?
Yeah, probably it's Erod for the Red Sox going up against Baltimore and Straley. First of all, he's going to be a pretty high favorite. Straley's terrible, so he's probably going to get a win. For you people that like that other sport where they put the ball in the basket, the Raptors have now won the NBA championship. So congrats to the Raptors. Ha ha, Bay Area. Anyways, so back to what I'm saying. The Orioles don't really hit lefties very good. They had that little stretch in between where they hit them. So I think if you wanted to do a hedge stack against Erod in GBPs, I think you could. But as it comes tomorrow, I think it's Erod, and then you also brought up a guy right below him at 7,800 by a guy by the name of Chris Bassett for Oakland A's facing Seattle Mariners, and Gonzalez. He's a high favorite. To me, I would rather just go with Erod more than Bassett. I just think Erod's a better pitcher and he has a better matchup. But you tell me why you would prefer Bassett over Erod.
Well, I think, number one, the park, just to start off, I'd rather not take a pitcher in the cash game in that park if I don't have to. The Orioles do have some injuries, so they're not the same Orioles even as a few weeks ago, but they were hitting lefties pretty well. I don't mind Erod, but like if I could save $200, take a guy like Bassett, who's going up against a high strikeout team of the Mariners in a much larger park, who's also like a minus 180 something favorite, a large favorite. I think I'd feel a little more comfortable with that, but again, it's like splitting hairs. I think Erod, I think it's one of those two if you're trying to save some money at SP2 right now. I do think it's one of those two either way. So I'm totally fine with it. Let's approach it from a tournament perspective, Joe. Do you look at these pitchers any differently for tournaments?
Oh, yeah. That's where you got to get. I think Lucas Giolito tomorrow becomes like the ultimate GPP pitcher because he's been arguably probably the best pitcher in the league the last month. But everything, if you throw in production, everything, I'd say he's been better than Ryu. And that's saying a lot coming from a Dodger fan, but he has just been showing everything. I mean, if you look at his last on his FanDuel things, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6 out of his last 7 starts, he has over 50 points. I don't think there's any other pitcher in the league that can say that, including Chris Sale. So I could be wrong about that, but I think Giolito tomorrow presents the ultimate GPP option. People will stay away strictly because it's from the Yankees. So obviously, the big bad Yankees are going to be able to hit him. And they might not play him, but the Yankees can strike out just as much as anybody else. I love that tomorrow. He's probably the number one GBP option if you're going to have. And then you can obviously pivot to Scherzer. But like I said, some of these D-backs have some good BVP against them. I mean, Adam Jones has 4 home runs against them. Some of these guys have faced him a lot in his career, so I don't mind that. And then I think you could also take a look at Blake Snell against the Angels, but the Angels are hot lately. They swept the Dodgers. They just went into Tampa and beat Tampa again today. Ohtani went for the cycle, first Japanese-born player to hit for the cycle. So I think I might be off him. And to me, it feels like Giolito is the natural pivot from Cole in GBPs.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think that Giolito is kind of an enigma. On the one hand, you can argue that, okay, he did it twice against the Royals. On the other hand, he also did it to the Astros. So he's just been awesome. And this is kind of what the White Sox have been waiting for and throwing him out all this time. And he seems to have figured something out because he's not walking people. Walks were a big issue for him. He was never really a guy that got hit terribly hard. It was always walks. And so if the walks are controlled, which they appear to be, he's going to do a lot better. So I'm with you there. I think Giolito is definitely an interesting tournament play. Curious to see how much of the field goes there because every single day he's been relatively low owned because people are just, they don't want to believe it all the way, or he'll be pitching at the same time that we have these Scherzers and Coles and other guys. And his price has been up there. So people have been hesitant, I think, to click his name. So similar situation. I think that makes sense. And also Scherzer, in a tournament setting, especially depending on what umpire we get for him tomorrow. But the D-backs, they can strike out. So I think that, from tournaments, it does change the perspective a little bit. Any of these SP2 cheaper guys you would consider in tournaments?
One last thing on Giolito. He has faced the Yankees already this year in his first or second start of the year, and he got roughed up a little bit. So I don't know really if you're going to take much from that. The Yankees were totally different lineup back then. They still had Stanton and Judge in the beginning of April. So I think it's a little bit different lineup. So I wouldn't really take much from that performance back in April. The SP2 options to me. On DK, there's not many to fit in if you're going to pay up. Maybe you look at a guy like Drew Pomeranz who had a decent outing last time. That's a little bit below there. There's other guys I think if you wanted to sort of pay like a double pay up, you could maybe take a look at somebody like Trevor Richards, who's been pitching well. He has a great matchup at home against Pittsburgh. Maybe Andrew Heaney. We have lefties against the Rays. We know how that is. They strike out a lot, so that's not bad. But it's kind of funny that, a guy like Ponce de Leon is 8,400 more than like some of these other pitchers. It's just kind of funny. I think another guy you might be able to look at is Adam Plutko against the Tigers. We all know the Tigers can strike out a lot against righties, so that's not a bad matchup right there at 7,200. I would take a look at that also.
It's rough, man. The SP2 options are really ugly. That's definitely an issue. Um, you got guys that are cheap that shouldn't be cheap, but the matchups for them just aren't ideal. You've got
Mhm.
Marco Gonzalez is only 5,300 over in Oakland, but the problem is it's Oakland. The team has been pretty good against lefties. And the same argument for Aaron Sanchez. Not that Aaron Sanchez has been terrible, but he is very, very cheap at 4.6, but he's playing the Astros. So you got some tough decisions if you're trying to save money. Otherwise, it's interesting that the double spend up, like Bassett and Erod should be pretty popular SB2 options, and I think that's gonna.
Mhm.
Curious to see who they pair the first one with, because Coors has been going off. You would think guys are going to want Coors, especially with the pitchers we have going there in Quantrill and Hoffman. But it's going to be hard to get Coors if you do spend up. So I'm curious to see where the field will go. But yeah, another guy that could be interesting is Max Fried. He's been terrible, I know, and Philly's got a pretty good offense, but he's cheap, man. He's only 6,900 for a guy like that gets ground balls. It's a maybe. It's a maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I'm thinking, like on FanDuel, how low can you go to pay down, to get like let's say a Coors or something like that? Because a Coors stack, it's really tough down at the bottom. I mean, today you kind of could have thrown something at some other guys, but today it's like you almost all these teams down below you really want to almost stack against. I guess you can maybe sell me on Pomerantz because it's a good ballpark and he's coming off of a decent start. But I don't necessarily love that either, so it's just kind of, boy, I just don't know. You're going to have to really tread lightly. It's going to be maybe a mini stack kind of gay on FanDuel if you might not be able to get all of them that you want. I guess Bassett and Plutko would be about as far as I'd go down. They're at 76 or 7,500. That's probably the lowest I'd do.
Yeah, no, I hear you. We'll have to see what lineups come out, what the umpires look like, all that good stuff. Let's move over to Stacks, Joe. What are some of the offenses that stand out to you?
Oh, you know it. We love it. Wise Take favorite team here, Minnesota Twins. I looked at this slate and I said, Brad Keller, this is the night he's going to be blown up. This is it. He's been doing decent, but the Twins have a six implied run total, or scheduled for 6 runs. So I don't mind that. Number scheduled 2 team right off the bat, scheduled. Yes, they're scheduled for 6 runs.
At what time?
What time? Well, the game starts at what time does it start? Whatever time it starts, about 20 minutes after that, because Gibson's going to get him out. They're going to be in before that.
You got to give him the time for the top of the inning first.
Yeah.
Yes, okay. I'll be there.
Probably my favorite, kind of value stack of the day is these Oakland A's against Marco Gonzalez on FanDuel. A lot of them are cheap. What Labs is showing right now, they're not showing their lefty or their righties heavy lineup with Pinder and Mark Canha that will get the start tomorrow, which I like that. So I'm in for these A's tomorrow as a good salary relief stack, especially if you're paying up for Cole or Scherzer. Those are the first top 2 that I'd be looking at. And then the Astros definitely against Aaron Sanchez. The Indians against Ryan Carpenter, and the Tigers, and and then obviously we always got to talk about when this man is on the slate, when Fuego Steve's son is on the slate, we know we got to talk about Fuego Chavez and stacking against them with the Cincinnati Reds. That's right. So they got that. And then let's see. They got Orioles are saying that Cashner's going to start now against the Red Sox. So, you can either have a troll job with Cashner or you could stack the Red Sox too.
Yeah, there's a lot of good offenses. Coors, we got Hoffman and Quantrill. Quantrill was awful in the first stint he had starting Major League games, and the Rockies have been playing with every day. Coors is just going off every day. That's what it's been, and I think we have to adapt to a degree and try to get some exposure at least one team. That's what it seems like. I do love the Twins. They're my favorite offense. I'm sure they will be very popular. They're projected for 6 runs now, which currently the Rockies don't have a line yet. So I'm sure they'll be the highest. But at the moment, the Twins have the highest projected run total, even over the Red Sox and Cashner in Baltimore. The Red Sox are definitely a team you want to take a look at going into Baltimore. Toronto just teed off in this series. Cashner could be a troll, but the park is just so good for hitting. But yeah,
and the bullpen is
and
bad
the bullpen's
too,
awful,
so it's
right. And that all matters.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of offenses. Offenses are not a problem, and that is why SP2 like value SP2 options are, because it's just that situation where the pitching is more, the bats are more attractive. And when there's so many good bat spots, it's going to be harder to find pitchers, and that's the situation we find ourselves in. But the Twins definitely seem like a team that I just want to keep riding. They did disappoint me against Malone, but even then they weren't really on their game. Malone pitched well. The Twins ended up scoring 6 runs anyway. Somehow they just seemed to get it done, and they're just hitting the ball so well. So I'm with you on that, Joe. Definitely digging the Twins. That is going to do it for the slate breakdown, the overview. At this point, I'm going to remind everybody, if you haven't checked us out at wisetake.com, make sure you get over there. Couldn't join the Wise Take Nation. We are a DFS premium content provider. But more importantly, we're a DFS premium community. So join the nation. You can try a day pass if you want to try the content out. $2.50. You'll get access to all the MLB content for 1 day. You'll get access to all the content, everything except for the Wise stream. I'm sorry, the Slack chat. Slack chat's the only thing you won't get without with a day pass. To get a Slack chat, you got to have a monthly membership or higher. So I do recommend, after you try out the day pass, see what it is, see what the nation does, see how we help you become a better DFS player. I do recommend you save some money, get yourself a monthly membership or higher, and get into the Slack chat with the rest of our members and analysts. All right, Joe, let's do Cash Game Core. So you want to do Garrett Cole, right? You want Erod? We could do either one. They're only $200 apart.
Yeah, let's just go Garrett Cole and Erod from both. Garrett Cole and FanDuel and Garrett Cole and Erod on DK.
Who is the stud?
Boy, that's tough. That's really, really tough tomorrow, especially on first look. I'm going to go with Charlie Blackmon.
I think that's safe. I mean, it's cores. It's been going nuts. I like that call a lot.
Well, and also he is below Arenado and Story when it comes to price.
On FanDuel.
He's coming off of on FanDuel, yeah. So I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, he's facing Quantrill. He's going to be leading off, and he's coming off of I think he's like, if he gets one more at bat, he could have a chance for the cycle if he gets a double. He's like 4 for 5 today. He's got 2 home runs, a triple, and a single. So he's hot. That's my point. So you're getting him at a lower price compared to the other guys that are around him. I mean, he's not even in the top 10 highest priced guys tomorrow. Right. So take that for what you will. I think Charlie Blackmon right now is a lock.
I'm with you. DraftKings knows all, because Blackman's the most expensive Rocky over here.
Yeah, see, that even says that I like him even more on FanDuel now.
Is there a value guy that kind of stands out? I know we won't know till the lineups come out, but
Mark Canha.
I could dig that against a lefty. DraftKings, he is not in the projected lineup.
Or you can go with Pinder. I know he's not. So, but I follow the A's enough to where I feel
you
like
just know, right?
He's going to be in there. If not, then Pinder will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like one of those guys will be in there, I think, and it'll be one of them will be batting second. So I feel like just go with who's ever who's ever there at that spot. But Canha usually always plays against a left-handed pitcher,
right?
So can't imagine him not playing tomorrow against Gonzalez too.
Top 3 pitchers.
Top 3 pitchers tomorrow: Garrett Cole, Lucas Giolito, and it's funny we didn't really talk about like much who else we like because they're kind of like high up and stuff like that. But I'm gonna go with my man Dick Milk, Rich Hill.
Dick Milk?
That's my number. Rich Hill, Dick Milk. That's what we call him.
Why do you call him Dick Milk?
Rich Hill. Rich Hill. I don't know because it's Richard Dick Mill. You know.
Okay, fair enough. I was like, Dick Milk. I was like, all right. I'm gonna go with Garrett Cole, Max Scherzer, and Chris Bassett. Top 3 stacks.
Top 3 stacks tomorrow. The Twins. I'm not even going to include. I'm not including Coors, guys. You could play them if you want. I want to tell you guys other teams that I like to stack. The Twins, number 1. Number 2 is going to be the Cincinnati Reds, and number 3 is going to be the Houston Astros.
All right, definitely going with the Twins, number 1. Let's go with the Indians, number 2. I know they suck, but I think Carpenter may suck a little bit more. And I'll ride with you on the Reds against Jesse Chavez and company. Let's do it. Dong Watch show. Who's going deep?
Charlie Blackmon.
I like that. Let's go with Max Kepler.
Max Kepler, all right. I'm going to go with Freddie Freeman.
I'm going to go, assuming he's in the lineup, I am going to go with Doug Fister's cousin.
You like that? Nobody else got that joke. It literally it flew right past
I was
Stevie.
dying.
I know. Paulie texted me.
I told Paulie that you were gonna have something to say. Me and Paulie did the podcast last night, and I told him I was like, Joey's gonna have fun with this guy, like Fister, Naylor, and So I was dying. To me, it was hilarious. Like I was rolling. It was funny, but I'm not gonna take him. I just wanted an excuse to say that to acknowledge that it was funny. I'm going to go with Nelson Cruz.
All right. And I'm going to go with a little bit off the board, but he is also my Stevie Brown BVP play of the day.
Stevie Brown.
It's Brian Dozier.
Brian Dozier, BVP life. I'm going to wrap it up with the Twins because I just love the Twins. Eddie Rosario, let's go. Do that dirty. To thy neighbor, let's do it.
Okay.
And that'll do it for the MLB breakdown. So, Shuhei Ohtani, the first, I believe he's the first Japanese player in Major League Baseball to hit for the cycle today, Joe. Like, you being an LA guy, you guys don't have any love at all for like the Angels, right? Like, you guys can't stand the fact that they're an Anaheim team, yet they had to throw LA County in that name.
Yeah,
right? Like
they're the Anaheim Angels.
But Ohtani, you gotta love, right? Like,
oh yeah, I can just see right now like Cash like running around his house. You know what I mean? Like just going, Ohtani is the best.
He praised him
player ever. Like he is better than Babe Ruth. You know, I could see him right now in his tank top with his ponytail and just like going crazy for Ohtani.
Ohtani,
right
he praised Ohtani. There's a few.
Yeah, I know he loves him. So,
him.
Yeah, I personally think that he should just give up pitching and just hit. You know, I think he'd probably win the batting title if he just hit. Yeah. So, yeah, it's awesome, man. That's good. As a Dodger fan, you know, we don't hate the Angels. It's kind of like your little brother. They're kind of like the Padres. Like, oh, they're kind of cute. You know what I mean? Like they're just. You know what I mean? Like they're kind of like whatever.
That's because like you're not looking at them as a threat, right? Like if they got good all of a sudden, and the Dodgers, like people like really legitimately felt like, oh, the Angels are gonna do it. Like then do you think you would be a little like, okay, come on, relax. Like we're the Dodgers.
Yeah, it'd be good if there was a freeway series. Yeah. It'd be good if there was.
Is that what they would call it? The freeway series?
They call it. They throw out the freeway series. Yeah, you just drive down the 5 freeway from each other.
That's the cool thing about Cali is like the freeways take you anywhere you got to go. Like it's just.
It might take you forever to get there.
Yeah. The traffic might back you up a few hours, but other than that, it'll eventually get you there. You know, pretty easy to navigate.
For sure. Yeah, Ohtani. You know, he's a good player, and you know, I think if like the Angels made the playoffs and other teams were. Like, you know, I cheer for them up until the point where and then they win the World Series. Right. Like, I don't want them to win a World Series before the Dodgers, but if they make it, great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd cheer for him. Mike Trout, he's a great player. You can't really hate on them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they don't really have any pitching. If they were to get some pitching where you'd be like, okay, I could understand him as a threat, but until they get some pitching, Trout's going to be wasted there.
No, I completely agree.
And Ohtani too.
I completely agree. If they want to admit that, I'll admit that. Like, you know who's impressed me this year? Pujols, man. He's having himself a throwback year. Like he's been much improved. But anyway, that's going to do it for the Wise Take DFS podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please click that thumbs up, that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you're watching on Facebook, give us a like and a share to support the Wise Take Nation. If you're watching on Twitch or Twitter, give us a follow, give us a retweet. And if you're listening to us on Podbean or iTunes, give us some 5-star reviews. Joey, anything in closing before we get up out of here?
15 game slate, guys. It's going to be a big one. It's going to be fun. There's a lot of places to go, but don't go crazy either.
Don't go crazy either. For Patio Joe, for myself, the entire Wise Take Nation, as always, good luck.
Peace. Yeah.